Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, we know this does not work. Let's get open for business. Thank God I am back home safe and sound for Thanksgiving and getting ready for our live stream coming up at 9 o'clock Eastern. Hope you guys will join us because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got 5 weeks to the regular season left, and we just got to keep finding a way to keep winning. We've definitely got ourselves back in the mix, and it feels good to get that third victory in a row. I mean, the trolls alone have been reduced quite a bit. And it's funny, they're evolving. You know, they've gone from Dak can't throw 200 yards to now Dak can't throw 300 yards and Dak can't beat high scoring teams. And it's funny because each of the things that people keep coming up with, the Cowboys seem to start debunking. It's kind of cool, but hold on, let me let the dog in. 'Cause I want to know who let the dog out. Come on in, Roscoe. So it's kind of funny that somehow the Cowboys keep debunking everybody who's been doubting them. Now, I've got an interesting theory here, too, because everybody says, well, the Cowboys can't score a lot of points. They can't keep up with other people. But now you've got Amari Cooper, and thus far he's got 3 touchdowns in 4 games. He's adding another element, and he's making people better around him. But the question is, can you keep up with a team like the Rams or the Saints? Well, we got a little taste of that playing against Matt Ryan and, of course, with Julio Jones, who had been leading the league in yardage and things, with Sanu, with Calvin Ridley, a great rookie that we thought about drafting. And we shut that offense down and beat them on their own home field. Now, I always try to look at things a little differently than other people and things like that, and come up with my own conclusions. Doesn't mean it's going to be right, but at least it gives you a little something to hope for or another way of looking at things. Because here's the thing, you look at the Rams offense, you look at the Saints offense, it's like watching a track meet because those guys are precise. They're just scoring at will. But it's my contention that they haven't exactly been paying the cream of the crop defenses. And who you play does have an effect on how well you play. I'm not saying that the Saints and the Rams offense aren't really good because they are really good. But are they as good and unstoppable as we think? That's the question. And is our Dallas Cowboys offense, because everybody says, oh, we can't keep up with those kinds of teams, is our offense really that bad? Because scoring offense, we're way down in comparison to our Rams and the Saints. And as you hear, of course, all the talking heads say, can't keep up with those teams. You'll be one and done in the playoffs. But what I know is nobody scored a lot of points in this Dallas Cowboys defense. And now the offense is beginning to score more and more, and we're getting turnovers, which is key. So I started doing a little research, a little math, and going through with each opponent that the Cowboys have played and their defensive rankings, scoring points, scoring defense. Did the same thing with the Rams. I did the same thing with the Saints. And what's interesting is, let's start with the Rams. The Rams offense has only played 2 games with teams that are in the top 10 in scoring defense. And that was playing the Seahawks twice. The Seahawks are 8th. Everybody else on their schedule that they played and played scoring defensive wise. I'm sorry, the Chargers. I forgot the Chargers. The Chargers are 7th. From there, the next, it's the Vikings, who are 11th in scoring defense. Denver at 14th. Green Bay at 16th. But then you've got teams like the Raiders that are 30th on defense. You've got the Cardinals that are 17th. You've got San Francisco at 27. You got Kansas City at 28 in scoring defense. So if you go ahead and get an average of the defenses they've played week to week, that number is 16.27. So that's basically you're playing the average defense in the NFL. Okay. So, I mean, it's different if you're playing, say, Baltimore every week. Number one scoring defense versus playing a 49ers. Okay. So I did the same thing with the Saints. And looking at their schedule, they've only had one team in all the games that they played in the top 10 in scoring defense. And that was the Baltimore Ravens. They're number one. I'm sorry, it's two. Forget it. Looking at all these numbers, it's two. Two teams. The Baltimore Ravens, and they scored 24 points. And the Washington Redskins, they scored 43 on the Redskins, so, that's an outlier. But the Redskins are sixth in scoring defense. But from there, the defenses that they faced have been pretty pathetic. The next one is the Eagles at 12th. But after that, everybody's in the 20s, and not just in the 20s, a lot of them in the late 20s. The Rams, 23rd in scoring defense. The Browns, 25th. The Falcons, 29th, and they played the Falcons twice already. Tampa Bay, 32nd. Who did I miss? Bengals, 31st. So when you do the math, the same formula that we use with the Rams, the average defense that the Saints have been playing, 20.45. So you're playing the bottom half or bottom third in defenses every week. That does kind of help you out quite a bit when you're trying to score points. Two teams in the top 10 on scoring defense. The Cowboys, on the other hand, how about them Cowboys? Here's where it gets interesting. The Dallas Cowboys have played 5 teams in the top 10, 5 games with teams that are in the top 10 in scoring defense. Seahawks at 8, the Texans 5th, the Jags at 9th, the Redskins at 6th, and the Titans at 2nd. And of course, the Redskins again. It's pretty impressive. The worst defense they faced was the 29th Falcons and the New York Giants at 26. But if we use the same formula, it's 13.36. I'm not saying that the Dallas Cowboys offense is as good as the Saints. I'm not saying that. But you got to understand, if you're playing top 10 scoring defenses on half of your games, chances are you're not going to score a lot of points. Now, what's interesting is the same can be said about the Saints. If you're playing weaker defenses, 20, it's a little easier to score. I'm not saying that their offense. I'm saying that their offense maybe is not quite that good when they play a great defense like ours. So you'll see, because the defense is dictated, you'll see that Saints defense come a little bit back down to earth. And you'll see the Cowboys who are playing Saints defense that's not quite the same as, say, the Jags or the Texans. You'll see that offense performance come up, especially getting the Amari Cooper trade in there. So I'm not ready to say that the Cowboys can't keep up with these high-scoring offenses, because part of the reason, again, is because they're not playing great defenses like we've been playing on a regular basis. So we'll find out if I'm right, but here is a reason to give you hope and a little something else to kind of say, hey, wait, hold up, something else you can talk to other people about. And I'm sure I'll see somebody coming up soon on ESPN or something like that doing this same kind of a thing, because a lot of times I go through and do this. Then I'll see somebody else come back on ESPN and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, wait a minute, I said that last week, right? I said that last week. Okay. So, see you guys at 9 o'clock Eastern. I'm Mark Holmes with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and I'll see you soon.